Let me demonstrate the log service of Angular by first asking Angular to give me a log service, and you can have as many services inside of this controller function as you want. Angular will identify each one and pass in each one that you need. And this log service has some methods on it, methods like warn, info, error. You can invoke those methods, pass in a string, and that string will appear in the Developer Tools console tab. So if I want to see when we're searching, what we're searching for, I could say, let's do a log.info, searching for, and add in the username that we're searching for. So each time that particular method executes, I should be able to see who we're searching for. And one of the great features of services in Angular, something that we won't have time to cover in this course, is that you can reprogram them. In other words, if I detect an error condition, I might want to do a log.error and put a description of that error in the console. But no one's going to see that error message unless they are actively opening the developer tools and looking at the console. And it is possible to reprogram this built-in log service to not only add that message to the console, but also to send that message back to the web server via the HTTP service. That way on the server, I can log these messages and find out that clients are having some errors. Someone can investigate to see if it's an error in the program logic. But we're just going to use the log service as is. And if I come over to the preview window and open up the developer tools, I'm first going to clear out the console and then refresh this window, quickly do a search, and you can see I get one message searching for Angular. And then when the countdown expires, I get the second message searching for Angular. So we're doing two searches. I should change this program so that if the user beats the timer and does a search, then we no longer do the automatic search. Unfortunately, this is relatively easy. When I call interval, it's going to return an object to me. And the first thing I need to do is save that object and then use it later to cancel the interval. So I will declare a private variable here. It doesn't have to be on scope. Let's call it countdown interval. I'll start it off as null. And then when we call interval, I will store the return value into that variable. Now, when we do a search, I need to check to see if there is a countdown interval, because if there is, I want to cancel that interval. So if countdown interval, if that is truthy, because it's not null, then I can walk up to the interval service and tell it to cancel, and I need to pass in that object, countdown interval. Let's see how this behaves. Come back to the preview window and have the developer tools on the screen. I wasn't quite quick enough, so let's clear the console, refresh the window, and do a search. I got one search. Notice the countdown timer stopped. So I'm pretty sure that I have canceled that interval correctly. I might also want to take that 4 off of the screen. Let's try to do that real quick. You probably know how to do this, but if I just say scope.countdown equals null or empty it out, blank it out, now what I should be able to do is open all of these windows again. Let's do a refresh, do a search. Now I did one search, I stopped the interval, and I took the countdown off the screen. So that's how useful the log service can be. It's sort of interesting because it allows us to present some information into the developer tools. But what if I wanted to use a service to interact with something on the page or on the screen or in the browser window? Well, generally, we try to keep things like services and controllers from interacting with UI pieces directly, but there are some scenarios where it's extremely useful to be able to invoke some behavior in the user interface from logic that is inside of the model or inside of a service. Let's talk about that next.